Player rating time then for the British and Irish Lions, the final warm-up match before the first test. I'm going to give each of the 23 players that took to the field for the Lions a mark out of 10. Actually, now I think about it, it's not 23 players, is it? It's each of the 22 players that took to the field, I'll give them a mark because Andrew Porter did not get on the field. But I'll give them all a mark out of 10. And I have a quick comment on where this leaves them in terms of potential test selection or not. And please give your thoughts. It would be miraculous if we agreed on all of these ratings. It is just an opinion and it is just a bit of fun. So please let me know what you think. These are my thoughts. Give the video a thumbs up and hit subscribe as well. And I think it's important to say before I get to doing the actual ratings, firstly, I regard like a 6 out of 10 as solid, as expected. And, you know, go from there, use that as your calibration. Secondly, I can only mark what I saw on the pitch. The reality is, as Andy Farrell will know only too well, that was a poor opposition. I was hopeful because of the quality of players, they might provide a stiffer opposition, but they were bad, weren't they, the ANZACS? They were just bad. I mean, you can't really expect any more. They looked like a team that had only been thrown together days beforehand, which they had. So I think there's lots of post-mortems to go on about this Lions tour when you think forward 12 years, if they were to go back to Australia. I think it needs to look a little bit different from the way this tour has done in terms of the warm-up games, but that's a conversation for another time. Let's focus on the here and the now. The next 6 days, the test match looming, and the final warm-up match. My ratings are as follows. Pier Guinness, 7 out of 10. He was absolutely everywhere. He was involved in that Ronan Kelleher try with a little 1-2 at the front of the line out. Busy, solid scrum, which has been a feature of this tour for the Lions. And unlike tight head prop, where my previous video was about Thomas Clarkson's call up and is there a slight concern around tight head prop, no concerns around loose head prop. Well stocked. And there's going to be a very, very good player not involved in the Test 23. Probably going to be Pier Guinness being that man, but that's not because of anything he's done. He's been great. It's just, it's really well stocked in that position. 7 out of 10. Andrew Porter didn't get on the field. I think that tells you quite a lot. The fact that Pier Guinness played 80 minutes, I think that tells you where the Test match jerseys are going. Luke Cowanicki, he was busy before he went on. Line-out was a little bit shaky, but of course, I'm not going to go too much into Luke Cowanicki's performance because, well, his tour may have just ended. 6 out of 10 I gave him before he went off. I was just glad to see him up and about before the end of the match, and I hope he has a speedy recovery from that big knock. Ronan Kelleher came on and was really busy in his place. Line-out tightened up a little bit. Scrum continued to be good. He got that try with a bit of quick thinking. He's going to be on the bench in the test. Tight head prop, Will Stewart, solid, unremarkable, solid. Kind of job done. So there you go. And Finley Beum came on, and I'd pretty much say the same. It's a shootout, I'd say, between those two. I mean, arguably, Finley Beum's been the form tight head prop on tour. My best guess would be he would be, like Pier Guinness, the guy that misses out. But with Thomas Clarkson being called up, is that precautionary, or is there possibility that one of the players, maybe Tigburn Furlong, isn't 100%? We'll wait and see on that. But Finley Beum, he's done all that he can on this tour. Into the second row, James Ryan. They hardly mentioned him on commentary. Did you notice? I hardly heard his name. And I don't mean that as a criticism for James Ryan. I think that tells you everything about the type of player he is. He will so often get overlooked for the role that he plays. But you cannot play all the great rugby if you don't have someone that just runs around smashing tackles, smashing rucks. He was one of the biggest, most prevalent carriers for the Lions. He was one of the top tacklers. He must have had so many involvements if you count rucks hit. Really busy performance. I think he's probably the lowest of the locks on the ranks, but that's because it's a really strong area, 6 of them. I don't think James Ryan's going to be involved in the test. Tigburn, he made a couple of errors, was pinged a couple of times, but I think, as I saw, it was described really brilliantly in an article. It was like, well, what do you expect when you're involved in the game that much? Tigburn, his work rate is off the charts, and he has had some games that are below his standard. I thought he was good in this game, poor opposition. So will that count as the context against him? I still think he's got a chance of getting into the Test 23, possibly even into the Test team, because Andy Farrell knows him, loves him, trusts him, and your body of work should play a part in selection. I think he may just miss out, however, because of the stuttering performances elsewhere. Right, and more's the point, how good all the other players in his positions are. Scott Cummings, another player. I thought he was really good when he came on. And he's been good every time he's played on this tour. And if there's an injury or two in second row, no hesitation. James Ryan or Scott Cummings, 100% would be totally happy with them wearing red in a test match. I don't think Scott Cummings will, but we will see. Into the back row, Henry Pollock. Henry Pollock's either sublime or a little bit quiet. Like that Argentina game, he had a bit of a sort of 30-minute spell and didn't really do anything in that match. He's been quiet in other games, and then he had that absolutely wild first game. That was against Western Force, wasn't it, where he was awesome. He just has moments. I wonder if the highs are going to... whether he's going to be marked down for the quiet times or just celebrated for the things he can do. The brave thing to do would be to go, do you know what, let's go 6-2 split, let's go Henry Pollock on the bench, and let's just have that X factor that can spark something. I think possibly that might be the case in test 2 or 3. Test 1, I think it might just be a little bit tighter, and I think Henry Pollock may miss out. He chased lost causes all night, got his try as a result of chasing a lost cause, but a bit of a mixed bag. I wonder if he was trying a bit too hard, but what a player, what an incredible year. The fact he's there at all and running out on the pitch speaks to what a special talent he is. Jack Morgan did everything that he could. Again, the one thing that I think may count against him in this, and he was so busy, and he's one of the top tacklers, he's really good in those wide channels, getting those carries in as well, in the Andy Farrell blueprint. I think what may count against him is that there was no jackal from Jack Morgan in this one, and that's the one kind of special talent that he has over and above others. I still think he's got a very good chance at being the starting number 7 in a test series, definitely in the mix for sure. Just depends the way that Andy Farrell wants to go. The context is this was not a great team that they were playing against. That said, they had some big old boppers in the back row with Shannon Frizzell and Pete Samu among them, and Ben Earl was the best back row player on the park by a mile. The best player on the park. Not by a mile, but he was the best player on the park in my opinion. His carries were absolutely amazing. Huge effort in the carry. Most meters made. Loads of the meters that he made were in contact. He could not do any more to be in the Test 23. And I think with the fact that he is a genuine 7 and a genuine 8 and an emergency 12, I think he will be in the Test 23. But we'll see. And lots more time to discuss that. That's the pack. Once we've done off the bench, Josh van der Fleer, who only got about a quarter of an hour. And I think the fact he only got a quarter of an hour, I say that as he is got a good chance of being in the Test 23, not that he's on the periphery. I don't think whatever Josh van der Fleer did in this match was going to be the reason why he would get in or not. It's going to be so tight in that back row area. Yeah, tough calls for Andy Farrell to make. Wouldn't want to be him. That's the pack. Let me know what you think as I move on to the back line. And Ben White, behind Hugh Jones and behind Ben Earl, absolutely brilliant for the Lions. One of the standout performers. And you know what? He's, with the relationship that he's got with Finn Russell, and especially if they go Finn Russell, Tuia Palottu, Hugh Jones, who knows, maybe even Blair Kinghorn as well. I mean, there is a case, a strong case for Ben White to be in the Test 23, just on the strength of that performance alone. And as I keep saying, it was a poor team that he was playing against. Australia will not give the gaps around the base of the ruck like the ANZACS did, and Ben White, you know, went through for his try brilliantly when there was one of those holes. I suspect it'll be Alex Mitchell, but it could be Ben White. And, you know, it's a 3-test series. Anything can happen. And the Lions, you know, having lost Thomas Williams, who was the form 9, Ben White has shown that he's in red hot form as well. So good options. As for Alex Mitchell, didn't get a lot of time, but was fine, solid in what he did. Fly half, Finn Smith. I actually thought, and I think maybe 6 is a bit harsh for Finn Smith. First and foremost, one thing fly halves never get credit for, and Finn Smith, in fact, yeah, I've written 6 there. I want to change him to a 7. The guy was the top tackler for the British and Irish Lions when he went off. The ANZACS clearly went, let's run at their 10. We've got some big old back rowers. Let's just run at him. And he took it all. and dished some of it out as well. Really, really brave fella. And actually, some of the tries that were scored were brilliant, and partly because Finn Smith just really smoothly brings other people into the game. It's almost like, like a good referee is a referee that you hardly notice. Actually, sometimes a really good fly half can be, rather than the general who's, barking orders and doing the real flashy, Finn Russell incredible 30-metre pass. Actually, sometimes the person that just gets a team moving on the front foot, picks the right option, the simple option. So I'm actually going to up that and give Finn Smith a 7. I did think he was good, and his defensive performance forces it up as well. I don't know if he's done enough to get above Marcus Smith, who I thought was solid when he came on, and played at fly half. Hallelujah. I think actually if it was just down to who would be a fly half replacement, Finn Smith will be on the bench. But I think the fact Marcus Smith can also cover 15 will get him on the bench for the test match. But we will see. Now, it gets quite interesting. Centre, Sion Talottu. He was a bit of a playmaker, first receiver a lot. What I liked about this, which we haven't seen enough of in this Lions tour, was Sion Talottu, head down, direct. From the start, he was like, bang. And that is what the Lions, that's when they look really good. When they just shortened it up a little bit, got the punch early, and Sion Talottu did a bit of that. Probably doesn't do that as well as Bundyaki, so that is going to be a flip of a coin to be who starts, but I think both Aki and Talottu are in the Test match 23, one of them wearing 12, one of them wearing 23, and maybe that partnership with Hugh Jones is going to get Bundyaki in. I gave Owen Farrell an 8. The ratings, remember, I'm judging Owen Farrell on, 20-odd minutes, 25 minutes? I'm only judging him on what I saw. So on the basis of what I saw, he was outstanding. Hard carry, lovely offload, which set up one try. Beautiful pass to bring Mac Hansen into play to get the ball to the outside for Duan van der Merwe's hat-trick. And a great option for a kick, turning the opposition winger, which led to the Henry Pollock try. I don't think he could have done any more. Not to get into a test match spot, although I did see Ronan O'Gara said he would pick him in a test match squad on the bench. I'm not sure test one, that's a good idea. Maybe not at all. But I think he's in that performance, albeit against a poor opposition, he justified his call-up with that and was really good. Hugh Jones was awesome. Best back for the Lions, along with Ben Earl. 50-50 about who should have got man of the match. They were both outstanding. The lines that Hugh Jones was cutting, the wheels that he showed, the opportunities that he took, and so timely as well when you think that Gary Ringrose, who with his last performance looked like he'd nailed down the 13 jersey, all up in the air now, and Gary Ringrose is going to miss the first test. Hugh Jones is in. And I think you can see that now. We only found out afterwards that Gary Ringrose was out, but it makes sense now why Hugh Jones was brought off after whatever it was, 55 minutes or whatever. Because they need him for the first test. And he will be starting. Who will be starting alongside remains to be seen, but fair play. He is in a rich vein of form and can cover outside backs at a push if needed, which could help the versatility and the potential for a 6-2 split on the bench as well. Right, who have we got left? Duan van der Merwe. It's mad giving someone a 6. I know. As I said, 6 is like my mark for, yeah, solid, kind of fine. And he got a hat-trick. But he also got exposed in defence. It was like the duality of Duan. Amazing. And there's no one that can do some of the things he does in attack. But he's also can be a liability in defence. And you saw both sides of it. Getting pulled out of position. And I just fear Australia would try, as other teams have managed to in the past, expose that. Equally, if he does get picked, I'd say it's a long shot at this point, but if he does get picked, hey, you know he's got big performances in his locker. And I'm an Englishman. I know that as well as anyone. And Mac Hansen, I thought was brilliant as well. I just wonder about Mac Hansen. I think it's going to be Lowen Freeman. And previously, I've been thinking, oh, it's going to be Hansen or Freeman. And if Hansen's going to get in, it's going to be because he's picked over Freeman. That could happen. But James Lowe has not been good on tour. James Lowe is a test match animal. His left boot is tactically a really important component, which the Lions don't have, particularly with no Elliot Daly. So I think it'll be James Lowe who gets picked for his left boot. But if you were just picking on form, James Lowe doesn't deserve to be in. And Matt Hansen probably does. So a spot on the bench, number 23 shirt, I'd say that's unlikely. I'd say it's all or nothing for Matt Hansen. It's going to be him, James Lowe, Tommy Freeman, 2 out of the 3. And the other one is going to be licking their wounds. Could be Matt Hansen. It'll be quite the story if he does get in. And finally, Hugo Keenan. Again, just like with Hugh Jones, thank goodness he had a great game because Gary Ringrose is out. And 2 amazing options became just 1. Same goes with Hugo Keenan, with the possibility that Blair Kinghorn won't be able to train in time to take a full part in the test preparations. Thank goodness Hugo Keenan had a Hugo Keenan-like performance. Just intense, class decisions, dependable, the sharpness of mind when he set up that try at the start with his quick line out. That's Hugo Keenan. Low errors, high accuracy, brilliant at covering the backfield. He bossed it. And, well, even if Blair Kinghorn is fit, maybe Andy Farrell goes Hugo Keenan now. We will see. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. As I say, just a bit of fun. It's okay if we disagree. It would be a miracle if we agreed on every single one. I will be back doing another video soon. I'm not going to do a Test 23 right now. I'm going to let that game sink in a little bit more, find out the fitness status of Blair Kinghorn, and go from there. But anyway, we're only doing it for fun, aren't we? Andy Farrell's got to do it for real in a few days. I'll see you on the next video.